out in the middle of nowhere in Oregon, like I guess between like Portland and Salem. I did the do, so I went out and picked up a car that I bought like a month and a half ago, but this was my first opportunity to actually grab it. So you can probably guess just by looking around. It is a 2 Series BMW 2016 BMW 228i. So this is sunroof, of course. You know I love the GT. Probably, I don't know, maybe it's cope because my budget took a hit in the last couple years. But you know me, I like to turn lemons into lemonade. So this is probably the least expensive special car that you can buy. Well, why is it special, Disciple? Well, that primarily. Good old M Sport 6-speed manual. But the production run, there was only probably like a couple thousand made in their entire run. So you have to kind of go down the checklist, right? So BMW sold enough 2 Series, right? They probably sold a disproportionate amount of like the M235, M240, and of course the M2, because why get a small coupe if you're not going to get the best version of it? But this is like one of those rare instances where the lesser version, if you will. So this is the 4-cylinder turbo 228, and a lot of them that were sold were automatic. So it's like kind of like the afterthought. And I'd imagine it's someone who probably, the sticker price on these when they were new was like expensive enough, right? So like an M235, this is a 2016, so I think it's like maybe a year or two before the M240. The M235 probably would have been like right at about 50, 51, 52. And these were like 45 or so, maybe even 46 grand back when they were new. And I'm often fascinated, like when you look at like the options checklist and stuff for a lot of cars, why someone wouldn't just kind of stretch purchase like the, I guess, ultimate version. Now the M2 didn't come out immediately with the, you know, this 2 Series. I'm not looking at it now. I'm kind of I think this is I don't want to butcher it, F. So I think this is where they switched from the E's to the F's. Geez, I'll probably just put it in the description box. I want to say it's like an F61 or something like that is the body style. I'm probably totally off on that, but it's like an F something. I'll put it in the description box. But there were a couple years there where it was just like the regular 2 Series, and then they came with like the M lights, right? So the M240, M235, M240 are not really viewed as real M's in quotation marks, even though it has, you know, M badge on the steering wheel, M badge on the shifter. Very solid feeling shifter too. I thought it was going to be kind of rubbery. I remember reading that about the E90X or E9X BMWs, where basically they were saying great car, great motor, the S65 motor, but the manual is like kind of like almost like an afterthought, like you bought it just because you're like one of the hardcore people that has to have a manual, but you immediately need to like put in like a short throw shifter, you know, make it shorter throw, more very strict shifting, for lack of a better term. So like if you're, you know, if there's like play or sloppiness into it, it kind of takes away from the driving experience. But this is actually short throw enough for a guy like me, and positive enough throws. It's and short throw enough. So I mean, that's a win, right? So the whole idea with this is like, obviously, as I'm about to start law school and you know, just other things. I've got like, you know, grown man bills just like anybody else or whatever. So that's why the price of the car was so important. You know, the less I have to throw in, you know, to make it fun, the better. So I bought this. The reason I was able to get a good deal on this, I got it for like just under 20 grand, is because the miles are kind of high, 86,000 miles. Of course, by the time I get back east, I'm going to be, this is like a 3-week trip. I have my work laptop with me, so I'll be working like half days, maybe a couple full days here and there. Like, you know, on vacations, not every day is like super rah-rah or whatever. So some days you can just, you know, work your 9:30 to 6:30 that I usually work. And, you know, because I'm on the west and then mountain time, it'll be like, you know, minus 2 hours, minus 3 hours relative to the east. So, and it's kind of like a last hurrah trip because this will be, you know, the last time in many cases that I'll see people for like 4 years, 4 years of law school. So I already had this plan before I even saw this car on Bring a Trailer. So I just decided to integrate the two. It would have only been like $1,500 through my boy's shipping company, Fox Auto Transport, which is probably like one of the first ones that you find when you Google like shipping. He's like, he's become fairly big over the years. He's the one that I usually go to the auto show with, but his sister's birthday was this past weekend. Totally understandable. He actually went Sunday, the day after, because he was already out in Eastern Mass. So yeah, this is the Pacific Northwest. Obviously along the way I'll have some more video. I'm probably going to stop in Salt Lake City, Utah to see a friend, and then to Vegas to see like 3 friends, a high school buddy, undergrad buddy, and then another college buddy who was like really like after the fact. So that should be fun. And my high school buddy's like a pretty big party promoter with the hard rock conglomerate out there. All right, so back to the 228. Feels great. I'm being very careful with the potholes because it doesn't come with the spare. Now I do have AAA, and I also have like towing on my insurance, blah blah blah. But I'd rather not use that. So it has like those run flat tires, like with the super strong sidewall to get you out of a rut. But I'd certainly prefer to not get a flat. It's been a while since I've gotten a flat, and I'd like to keep it that way. But yeah, it feels great. I don't think I gotta look around it some more. Something I took for granted that it doesn't have heated seats. Now, obviously, this is gonna be like my spring and summer car. I still have the RAV4 to daily, which needs a water pump actually. After I just did an alternator and battery.
Turn right onto the I-205 North ramp to Seattle, the Dalles.
All right, so it's
Turn right onto the I-205 North ramp.
Sorry, I gotta leave that on because I do not know where I am. So I gotta listen to.
In a quarter mile, merge onto I-205 North.
Misnavigation here. So what else makes this special? Well, so this is kind of like, in my imagination, I don't think I've seen this written in, I have to do a little more research in terms of like the essays that kind of like wax poetic about a car. To me, it feels like the spiritual successor of the old E30. So we were going back and digging in the crates. This is back to the
on I-205 North for 13 miles.
Going back to the mid to late 80s, or actually early 90s, like 91 was the last model year of the old 318 IS. That's what this feels like. So sometimes in engineering, if you will, and this is totally me just saying this by seat of the pants, but I do know quite a few engineers. You stumble upon a genius stroke, right? So it doesn't have the straight 6 of the 230, the M235 and the M240 or the M2. So in so doing, it has a straight 4, a turbo straight 4. So it weighs like a couple 100 pounds less, and also the motor is, I'd imagine the straight 6s as well, is pushed pretty far up into the nose. In other words, like toward me, if you can see my hand there. Which BMWs, like, they famously tend to have close to a 50-50 weight balance, but this, that effectively makes it kind of like a front midship weight distribution and architecture. So instead of like Audis, for instance, they tend to have the motor almost fully out in the nose, in front of the front axle, or at least like half of the motor. So there's like there's more push. This, so far, no push. I really haven't put it through its paces, but it definitely feels balanced. That's what everything I've read says. It's part of the reason why I don't throw away my car magazines, because they're always relevant, right? If I'm not at that point in life where I'm buying brand new cars, and not only that, it's entertaining, and who can't learn more about like the tectonics of automobiles and stuff. So yeah, it definitely feels super balanced, and then obviously the lower weight, so it's only about like 3,200 pounds, which for a modern car is pretty light. I weigh all of like 230. So that means, though, in modern terms, to drive a car that weighs like fully laden, way less than 3,500 pounds, maybe a little over 3,400 pounds, that's fantastic. That means it's very tossable. It's rear wheel drive. I didn't want the X drive with the all wheel drive, which I don't even know if the 228 came with that option. with a manual. I think you had to get the automatic with that, which I wouldn't buy. Something that I come from the world of comic books and stuff like that, and a lot of times it's actually a positive to overpay for something. So this was like a very slight overpay. I'm talking about like maybe $1,000 or $2. Well worth it. It's in I'd say like tier 2 condition, which is to say like nicer driver. So it's not like museum condition, obviously, with 86,000 miles, but you should see under the I guess I should say the other thing is, in the Pacific Northwest, they don't salt their roads, and they also don't get like a lot of like snow and like heavy precipitation. So under the hood, like the aluminum and everything still shines. All the weird like nooks and crannies, nothing settled in there. There's no sediment, no nothing. Like looks like you could eat off of it. So it's in great shape. A lot of people like the badgeless look. I kind of want to put the badge back on. I know that the 228 is like the bottom level, but doesn't bother me at all. Because like if you're a car guy, you kind of know what that means. Like you can drive around like a whole year without seeing a 228. And I like that. I like rare. I was searching frantically. So packing, I've got to get a better handle on this. I got hardly any sleep last night, which whenever I go on vacation, I tend to get wired and I can't sleep the night before anyway. I did get maybe about like 2 hours sleep on the flight, which for me is like fantastic. I usually don't sleep on moving vehicles, whether it's like, trains, planes, trucks, whatever. So I'm tired, but I'm not like, about to pass out or anything. I have my, you can see there, my 5-hour energy. One negative, because I've been working from home for 4 years now, my immune system is not what it used to be. Immediately as I got off the plane, like within maybe like an hour or so, started to feel a tickle in my throat. I did have a clean Mustang. I do have a mask, but it was like kind of buried with my stuff and I couldn't really reach for it. Sat next to a very friendly pair. It was cool for a 5-hour flight. It didn't feel like it. Like I said, as you know, I don't like flying, so it's a win for me if it's enjoyable in any way. Plus I got like 2 hours of rest. It's about 12 hours at this point from Salt Lake City, Utah. Now I wanted to see another friend of mine who I was on the chess team with back in high school, but he lives in Arkansas. He's a coder for Walmart. I told him to say hello to the Waltons for me. He says they don't come to the office too often, so at least he's seen them. But yeah, he was like, man, that would have been great if I could see you. But yeah, he's Mormon. He's actually originally from Utah, but we went to 8th grade and then through high school in Springfield. So legitimately close friend, and he was on the chess team with me as well. And now he has his little family, which is funny because he's like one of 9, as you might imagine, from a Mormon family. But he and his wife and 2 kids, and we chatted a bit the other day because I was hoping to see him out here, and then he told me like, I moved out to Arkansas a while ago, so which is cool. It's all about the thought that counts, right? I'm sentimental that way. So one friend who I was supposed to see in Boise, Idaho, which is just an easy 7-hour shot east from Portland, Oregon. She kind of bailed for a variety of reasons, nothing to do with me really. But as I like to say, I turn lemons into lemonade, so that allows me to just head straight south. So it actually added like a couple days back into my vacation, because her mom was like, yeah, we make sure you're able to stay for a while, but I guess I'll see her at homecoming. Like we went to college together, so I'll see her at homecoming in October, I suppose. At least that's what she says. So yeah, first stop will be, tonight's tricky because it's an end of month stats, and I'm the stat guy for my team, so I got to do the reports for the morning of technically April 31st, and then tomorrow I work like a half day, really just to slow the use of PTO as much as anything. Now I in January celebrated 10 years with my company, so I have like 30 days of PTO, but even 30 days can go pretty fast if you're just using every day on vacation. So I figured using 4 to 6 hours every day, that'll slow the use by 50 to 75%, right? So that's a good deal. And there'll be a couple of days where I work a whole day, because when you're on vacation, not every day is like super rah. But all right, so I'm at the 14-minute mark. There's gonna be a bunch of other videos, so there's no need for me to belabor things. This drive to parts unknown, Salt Lake City, I've never been, kind of serves as like a shakedown drive as well. But if I can find like an embankment or a parking lot or something on the side, I'll pull over so I can do like a little walk around. And of course, this road is looking like it's not going to provide that, but I don't know, maybe it'll surprise me. Like a nice truck stop would be good. So yeah, state of 2016, right? So this is like old technology in a way, but it's very nicely constructed, good fit and finish. Still has a CD player, which I appreciate. I know some people are like, why? I appreciate it. So impressions of the Northwest. Portland, I forget, what is it, PDX I think is the airport. So ours is BDL, which is like serves like Hartford and like Western Mass. I don't know if you necessarily get a feel for like Connecticut, Western Mass by going to our airport, but PDX for sure. It's, you know, obviously it would be like a caricature in my head, but it for sure feels like what I imagined the Pacific Northwest to be like. Not to mention all of the rain. Like now it's just kind of like a little drizzle. I'm just gonna pull over on this exit right here so I have a place to kind of walk around the car. Definitely feels earthy, crunchy, and I saw more than one pair of Birkenstocks and all that. Every part of like you know, stereotype that you can think of. Like the people definitely feel earthy, crunchy, and actually, frankly, I like that. It reminds me a lot of
Use the right 2 lanes to take the I-205 north ramp.
It wants to take me back onto the highway because I'm deviating, and I like that. We have a town, Northampton, just like 22 miles or so north of Springfield, and it's like a larger version of that. All right, cool. So it looks like I'm going into town right here. I'm just gonna kind of turn down this road or wherever.
Turn left onto Southeast 97th Avenue.
All right, lady navigation.
Head southeast on Southeast Woodstock Boulevard towards Southeast 97th Avenue, then turn right onto Southeast Henry Street.
I thought that guy was about to run into me, that's why I kind of
Turn
veered
right
that
onto
way.
Southeast Henry Street, then turn right onto Southeast 97th Avenue.
All right, cool.
Turn right
This
onto
works.
Southeast 97th.
Doesn't look like the
Head
best
south on
neighborhood, but
Southeast 97th Avenue towards Southeast Duke Street.
it's not the hood. It's just kind of like a semi-rundown neighborhood. I don't think they have East Coast style hoods over here. At least cross my fingers. All right, so I'm gonna step out for a bit just to give you a flavor for it. All right, so yes, could it be any other color? Blue is my favorite color, and Estoril blue does the trick, and it's really nice. I mean, it's not clean anymore. It was clean in his shop, but obviously I've been driving for over an hour now, so it's like dirty again. Over here, you don't need to have a front plate. Obviously, as I get closer to the East Coast, probably even well before then, I'll need to put the bracket on, which is in the trunk, but I have it just in case, and it's already insured, and I put a fresh 2024 sticker on there. Let me back up, I think I'm too close. There you can see the M Sport wheels. Motor is quiet as a whistle. The lenses aren't really fogged up. I'm gonna probably put some PPF on there, paint protection film. The wheels are what are they? 225, 40, 18. So for those of you that don't know what that means, 225, that's the width, that's in millimeters. 40 is the sidewall, that's 40 millimeter sidewall, that's relatively low profile. And 18 is in inches, so that's the diameter of the wheel. And you can see the paint's in excellent shape. All right, let me see if I can zoom back a little bit. All right, there we go. Like I have it on like half aspect right now. All right, and the gentleman who sold it to me, I very nearly told him tint the windows for me, and I'll I'll pay him when I see him. But they are already tinted, and a nice one too. It's like not super illegal, but it's like it's nice. Looks to be probably up front like about like 30%. The back is definitely darker, but almost murdered out, which is probably the way I would have done it anyway. I have a tint shop right on my street, which the RAV4 is tinted, my Honda is tinted, the Acura is tinted, and I brought my other plate, which I don't know why the 2024 is peeling up there. I gotta push that down. And of course, I love Transformers, so Ramjet all day. My other vanity plate is Skywarp. And of course you get the it's dual on one side, but it's really just a single exhaust. That's the 228. If this were an M235, it would have been a dual exhaust. And if it were an M2, it would be quasi-dual exhaust. But really nice shape. Like I said, it has the sunroof, which is huge for me because I know some car guys are like, bro, I need the slick top because structural rigidity and hardcore and blah, blah, blah. But I don't like convertibles really, so I do like to open the roof up. To me, it makes the car more flexible and I can enjoy outside while still having a closed roof coupe. Tires appear to have good tread on them. I don't want to see what that bill's like when it comes time to replace run flats though. So pretty nice. So basically the price, so in terms of like the loan, I always take a loan because I don't want to come out of pocket. And literally I bought it so long ago, a month and a half ago. I've already made a car payment on it. And the miles enabled the price to stay pretty low, even though it has like a pretty narrow range. I've seen some with like lower miles and they aren't that much more, like maybe a little more than you'd want to pay, like maybe like into like the mid 20s. Then it kind of becomes like a business decision, like, all right, so how much do I want to pay for 228? I'm like a high value proposition type of guy, really, in all things in life. Like, I'm not frugal or cheap at all. I need to be, but I like to feel good about things after a purchase or an investment. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, this is really nice shape. I'm impressed with the paint, and it doesn't have oddly enough, it doesn't have a lot of rock chips up front or anything. Like, it's just in superior shape for what it is. Of course, by the time I get back to the East Coast, it'll be closer to 90,000 miles. But that's the good thing, is like relatively, I think I do see a little condensation on the inside there. That can be handled. Yeah, I think this is just good all around. This will definitely tide me over during school while not crushing me with payments and overhead. Insurance is kind of expensive. I think this kind of falls into like the boy racer mode, which is to say like the people that buy these probably crash them a lot. I don't think it's because of theft, because people tend to steal like easier to steal cars like a Honda or like a Dodge or something like that. I used to work in property casualty, so I know the tables. They go by like symbols and stuff. So this is relatively high symbol, like higher than my TL or my Accord Coupe, but a very worthy replacement for both. Again, like I'm a finance guy, right? So I'm always trying to like make a buck in the margin. So the money that I got, the proceeds I received from the Acura back in October, I put in, I invested some, paid off a credit card, and then put the rest in a high yield savings account, which is to this point, 6 months later, already made me like probably another $500. So good deal all around. All right, so let me hit the road. I do have to make up some ground. I'm not going to drive all 12 hours today because I need somewhere to lay my head and also to work. And then I'll set off again probably around 1. I'll do a late checkout, so probably around 1 mountain time. And then I should be in like Salt Lake, in the evening at some point. So I'd like to get about 4 or 5 of those 12 hours driven tonight. It's still early enough. I still have my watch. If you can see it. Tissot, the official watch of the NBA. It says, what is that, 8:25, which means that it's 5:25 out here. So, yeah, if I get like another like 4 hours in, it'd be a nice time to get in, get my work done, and I can still get a nice night's rest and not have to rush out in the morning. So you get the idea. There will be more videos to come. 24 minutes, that's nice and tidy. As I always say, Lord is faithful. I consider this a blessing. Hopefully it doesn't shut off on me on this 3,000 mile trek. But yeah, stay with me. God bless.